This is my dad, graduating from Navy boot camp in Farragut, Idaho. Navy boot camp, Farragut, Idaho, in 1943. The point of that is, there is, in my role as your member of Congress, there is not a day that whenever the issue is that comes across my plate, comes, sits in front of me, that I don't ask myself, if my mom and dad were here, what would they think? How would they approach this? The point is, this is the first time in our country's history for all of us as to where we are. But history has a tendency to repeat itself. And if you take that for fact, why does it repeat itself? Is because people make new mistakes generationally, but they think they're not going to make the old mistakes of the previous generations. Well, they do. They just look at it from a different way. In this case, in the internet age, we can make mistakes faster. Just is what it is. Why I would tell you that is that I believe that you always hear this is the most important election of our time. It is. It is because I'll speak a little bit on national security for just a second. I'm still on Armed Services, Veterans Affairs, and the Budget Committee. But on Armed Services, I have the gavel on Intel and Special Ops. So I do a lot of stuff and I see a lot of things that may not be public knowledge. But in March, I was in the Philippines and I was in Taiwan. By the way, we missed the earthquake in Taiwan by 3 days. So timing is good. But where we are in the world today, I would suggest to you, we have been there cyclically before. The question is, how do we deal with it? And there's only one answer. There is absolutely only one answer to what I believe the short-term things we have to do to regain our stature as a leader on the world stage. So now I'm going to ask the question, and be honest with me. Is there anybody in this room, and it's okay if the answer is no, who's not going to vote for Donald Trump? The point is, okay, Kathy, here's how it works. We have a choice. Assuming both the presumptive candidates, the current president and the presumptive nominee for the Republican Party, are on the ballot in November to vote for. So let's assume that's the case. We are voting for a one-term president. Think about that. So if you got any heartburn about Donald Trump, okay. Can we use New York profanity in this room? I'm not going to. But he's a fine New Yorker. But he's also a committed individual who believes that America needs to continue to be America. We need to get over any qualms we have about voting for personalities, because we are on the precipice. Think about the Axis in World War II. Germany, Japan, Italy, right? Well, right now it is China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea. We're in a box. And these people, these entities, this leadership regimes from these 4 other entities only respond to one thing, and that is someone who has a purpose and will stand up and punch you in the face if you deserve it. Anybody think Joe Biden's going to punch anybody in the face? He can't even punch himself in the face. Okay? The point is, we need all of you to go to those people who you know who are hesitant about Donald Trump's personality. And we need everyone to come out. It's the never-Trumpers and those who are a little squishy in the middle, not sure. That's what is going to help Trump carry Michigan, and Michigan is going to lead the road to the White House. That's how it works, folks. And you right here, right now, have an opportunity to be part of that history. When we think about the greatest generation and what they did to literally preserve freedom for the world and the leadership, you think about what happened after World War II with the Marshall Plan. But you have an opportunity, and I believe an obligation, to stand up for what you know is right and get rid of all the soap opera stuff that's being put out there. Because as I walked in here tonight, the last 30 seconds before I walked into the door, I was listening to an ad, you've all heard it, put out by the Democrats about, you know, Donald Trump, abortion, and all of that stuff. He's going to take your reproductive rights. They've been playing here. Every time I come home, they're playing that ad. They're going to get to people if we allow them to do it. We have to call them out for who they are, what their intent is, and it's evil intent. It's not just bad intent. This is the leftists' move to take over America. I don't usually get this strong, but I'll tell you what I've seen over the past few years, there is no doubt in my mind of the intent of the leftists. Not clueless liberals. That's not it. The leftists. You got to read history, folks. And the point is, I probably got more passionate than I thought I would tonight, but I wanted you to know the intensity with which myself and my team and everybody else is approaching this election here in 2024. We need the turnout to make Michigan scarlet red in November and drive the point home that up here in Michigan or downstate or wherever we are in the UP, you know what? We work for a living, we're families, we're God-fearing, we get involved in our communities, we love our neighbors, even though occasionally we might disagree with them. But the point is, we are that state that should be the example and can be the example across our entire country as to driving the election results in 2024. So thank you for what you've already done. Thank you for being here. Again, Jerry, this was the most spectacular program I've ever seen. I'm going to go talk to some of my colleagues back in D.C. about someone else, because we have some of them who maybe could step up a little more. But having said that, for those of you, and I'll end with this, and I know I've probably talked a little bit longer than I should have, but last week we played the congressional baseball game. And I had the toughest job of anybody on the team. I was the first base coach, because we got a lot of our players who have no baseball sense. And they get on first base, and they don't know which way to run. I told one guy, why don't you just steal home from here to the short? My goal was to get them from first base to second base successfully. And we had 22,000 plus fans in the stands in Nats Park. It was a beautiful night. We raised over $2 million for charity. But we, as the Republicans, because we started practicing the 1st of March and practiced every morning at 6 a.m. like we were in session, we took a baseball game and turned it into a football score at 31-11. Okay, and we kicked some ass. Okay, but for the good of charity, because it was all about money raised, I want you all to kick some ass, not only in August for our nominees, but kick some ass in November. God bless you all, and thank you very much.